Or ever seen a sweet potato so huge you'd need a crane to get it into your kitchen? How about a radish so long, pulling it out feels like unearthing a small tree? And yes, there's even a cabbage out there tipping the scales heavier than most adults. Welcome back to another amazing episode of Forever Green. Today, we're diving into the world of colossal crops. We're showcasing the most jaw-dropping fruits and vegetables that have shattered records worldwide. And stick around, later on, we'll reveal a watermelon so massive it weighs as much as a grand piano. So get ready, click subscribe, and let's jump right in to explore these titanic treats. 22. Atlantic Giant Pumpkin. Imagine a pumpkin so big that you could live in it. Well, not really, but the Atlantic Giant Pumpkin often tips the scales over 1,000 pounds. Oh no, it's more like the Hulk of the pumpkin world. Weighed a jaw-dropping 2,624.6 pounds. That's heavier than a small car. Can you imagine trying to carve that for Halloween? You'd need power tools. That massive pumpkin was grown by Matthias Willemijns in Belgium and broke the world record in 2016. It's so massive that moving it isn't a one-person job. You need a forklift and maybe even a small crane. Growing an Atlantic giant pumpkin is like the Olympics of gardening. During their peak growth spurts, these pumpkins can put on up to 50 pounds a day. Yeah, you heard that right. 50 pounds every single day. It's like watching your pumpkin grow on fast forward. 21. Biggest banana. Have you seen the world's largest banana? Forget everything you know about the cute little snack-sized bananas at your local grocery store. These bananas are more like the bodybuilders of the banana world. Each one can stretch up to 30 centimeters long and weigh a whopping 3 kilograms. That's about the size and weight of a newborn baby, except it's a banana. A single cluster can weigh up to 60 kilograms and contain up to 300 bananas. Yeah, you heard that right, 300. That's not a bunch, that's a battalion. Native to the lush tropical mountain forests of New Guinea, the trees there are giants too, with trunks soaring up to 15 meters high and leaves that might as well double as beach mats, stretching out to a luxurious 20 meters. These bananas are thicker than an arm. Not just a snack, these bananas are a meal and a workout all in one. 20. The heaviest marrow. Vincent Sjoden of Barry, Wales might not have had a giant panda at home, but he did grow a marrow just as heavy as one, weighing 256 pounds. It weighs about the same as a giant panda, or if you prefer a less furry comparison, a large washing machine. Vincent grew this massive marrow for the 2021 Canna UK National Giant Vegetables Championships, and it sure did make a splash. Could you imagine trying to lift this beast? You'd better think twice before complaining about carrying your groceries ever again. This marrow is so large, it might just need its own bed to sleep in. 19. Largest onion. We're peeling back the layers on a story about an onion so enormous, it might just make you cry. Twice. Once from its size, and once from its sheer onionness. Meet the world's heaviest onion, grown by Gareth Griffin in the UK. This guy tipped the scales at a tear-inducing 8.97 kilograms. That means its weight is more than that of a bowling ball. This colossal onion was proudly presented at the Harrogate Autumn Flower Show in North Yorkshire on September 15, 2023, where it set the new world record. This record-breaking onion didn't just appear overnight, though. It was the result of years of trial, error, and honestly, probably a whole lot of watering and whispering sweet nothings to encourage those layers to keep expanding. This is just a reminder to all of us that sometimes the biggest achievements come to those who wait, and water, and weed, and ward off pests for years on end. 18. Longest cucumber. Let's stretch our imaginations a bit further with the longest cucumber ever recorded. Grown by Sebastian Suski, a gardener who splits his green thumbs between Poland and the UK, this cucumber reached an impressive length of 113.4 centimeters. That's nearly 4 feet long. Sebastian didn't just stumble upon this veggie victory. He absolutely earned it with his top-notch cucumber cultivating tips. Warm water, of course the right seeds, ample soil, and precise watering brought this cucumber to record-breaking lengths. This thing is so long, it could be used as a makeshift measuring stick. And even when you see it, you won't believe it. 17. Giant zucchini. Ever seen a zucchini that's 8 feet long? You'd need a whole team to carry this veggie stick. That's right, we're talking about the giant zucchini grown by John D'Amico and his neighbor Ramesh Khurana in Thorold, Ontario, Canada. When this vegetable was measured, it wasn't with a standard ruler. It is a monstrous 102.25 inches long. That's over 8 feet. This is the kind of zucchini that could double as a bench. Growing this zucchini wasn't a stroke of luck either. It took patience, care, and perhaps a little bit of friendly neighborhood rivalry. Imagine the conversations over the fence as these two gardeners coaxed this vegetable to stretch longer and longer. Who knows what these green-thumbed neighbors will grow next? But one thing is absolutely for sure. It'll be hard to outdo this gargantuan green. 16. Biggest mango. Let's dive into the juicy world of the biggest mango ever recorded, a real heavyweight in the realm of tropical fruits. Grown by the skilled hands of Colombian farmers Germain Orlando Nueva Barrera and Reina Maria Marroquin, this mango weighed an astonishing 4.25 kilograms. That's about 9.36 pounds. Found on their lush San Martin farm in the scenic region of Boyaca, this mango wasn't just big, it was monumental. This fruit is so large that if mangoes had a royal family, this one would surely be the king. This mango set a new world record, outgrowing the previous record holder from the Philippines, which tipped the scales at 3.435 kilograms back in 2009. 15. Heaviest strawberry. Now, who doesn't love strawberries? I mean, they're sweet, they're juicy, and they're usually just the right bite size. Well, not this one. Enter the world's heaviest strawberry, a true heavyweight champion in the berry world. Grown by Chahi Ariel in Israel, this strawberry weighs a whopping 289 grams. That's over half a pound. Imagine needing 2 hands to hold just one strawberry. It's like lifting a small dumbbell at the gym. Now, this isn't just a strawberry, it's a monster berry. On Ariel's family farm, this strawberry grew so large that it probably thought that it was a pumpkin. You might be wondering, how does one even eat a strawberry that big? Well, you might need a knife and a fork for this one. And you can forget about dipping it in chocolate. This berry deserves its own chocolate fountain. 14. Giant cabbage. In Alaska, they grow them big. Scott A. Robb's cabbage weighed in at 138.25 pounds. Yep, you heard that right. A cabbage weighing more than an adult human. When Scott presented his massive cabbage at the 2012 Alaska State Fair, it was more than just a showstopper, it was a crowd puller. This cabbage right here is so big, you could play hide and seek behind it. Imagine making a salad with this green giant. You'd have enough coleslaw to feed an entire festival. You know what they say, in Alaska, the vegetables grow big due to the long summer days. But this cabbage must have thought it was in a grow your own giant contest. If you're ever in Alaska and hear tales of a green monster in the fields, don't be alarmed. It's probably just another record-breaking cabbage. If you've liked this video so far, go ahead, leave a like, and then you can also check out the biggest fruits and vegetables ever captured right here on our channel Forever Green. 13. Jackfruit. This right here is the heaviest jackfruit ever recorded from the lush landscapes of India. This colossal fruit tipped the scales at a massive 94 pounds. Yeah, I did not stutter. That's practically the weight of a small mini fridge. Could you imagine trying to lift that? Now, for those unfamiliar, jackfruit is known for being large. But this particular jackfruit took things to a whole new level. It's big enough to feed an entire party. So picture this, you're at a gathering and instead of a cake, there's this giant jackfruit right at the center. Growing a jackfruit this size requires the perfect combination of fertile soil, ideal climate, and particular care. In India, where jackfruit is native, these conditions are a part of the landscape. But it still takes a skilled grower to nurture a fruit to such monumental proportions. 12. Longest leeks. The gigantic leek was grown by Paul Rochester in 2018 and it weighed in at an incredible 23 pounds 9 ounces, or 10.7 kilograms. Paul grew this monstrous leek for the Canna UK National Giant Vegetables Championship in Malvern, Worcestershire, UK. Just picture trying to chop that leek for your soup. It would be like slicing up a small tree. Now, if you thought that was impressive, just wait until you hear about the longest leek. In 2024, Peter Glaze Brook set a new record by growing a leek that reached 5 feet 2.3 inches, or 1.582 meters in length. He showcased this elongated wonder at the UK National Giant Vegetable Championships, breaking the previous record of 4 feet 8.3 inches set in 2022. 11. Biggest carrot. Joe Atherton must have a magic touch because he grew the largest carrot at an impressive 20 feet 5.86 inches. This thing is so big, Bugs Bunny would need a lifetime to nibble through it. Joe Atherton, a name that's now legendary in the carrot growing community, has been pushing the boundaries of root vegetable potential for years. Back in 2016, at the UK National Giant Vegetable Championship, Joe pulled this enormous carrot out of the ground, setting a world record that leaves most people thinking, is that even possible? His secret? Perhaps it's the soil, the seeds, or maybe just pure vegetable whispering talent. Honestly, you've got to see it to believe it. In this video, you can watch the world's biggest carrot being unearthed from the soil. Watching it being pulled out is simply astonishing. Have you ever seen such a carrot in your kitchen? Probably not. This carrot was so big, you could mistake it for a garden tool or a piece of farm equipment lying around in the shed. 10. Largest sweet potato. This sweet potato is not just sweet. It is massive at 81 pounds and 9 ounces. This sweet potato, grown by Manuel Perez of Spain, isn't just large. This thing is colossal. This spud is so big, it might just need its own zip code. Could you imagine trying to fit this behemoth into your oven? I mean, you'd need a crane just to get it through the kitchen door. This record-setting sweet potato isn't just a vegetable. It's a viral sensation waiting to happen. And mashing this guy? You'd better call in reinforcements and a cement mixer. 9. Largest apple. The Hokkaido apple is a heavyweight in the apple family. With a record of 4 pounds and 1 ounce, you might need a pie just for this one apple. Grown by Chisato Iwasaki on his farm in Hirosaki City, Japan, this apple didn't just break the record, it set a new standard for what we can expect from Mother Nature. Introduced in 1983 as a cross between the Fuji and Mutsu varieties, the Hokkaido apple is known for its large size. But Chisato took that to a whole new level. Picking this apple might feel more like lifting weights at the gym. And if you're thinking about making an apple pie with it, you might just need 1 apple for your entire pie. 8. Heaviest eggplant. In the small town of Bloomfield, Iowa, a gardener named Dave Bennett accomplished something incredible. Planted in early April, his globe eggplant, also known as an American eggplant, grew to a staggering weight of 3.778 kilograms. That's over 8 pounds. On July 31st, this massive vegetable was harvested, claiming the title of the world's heaviest eggplant. However, the size of this eggplant isn't what's really mind-blowing. It also measured 71.12 centimeters, or about 2 feet 3.9 inches in circumference, and stood 35.56 centimeters, or about 1 foot 1.16 inches tall from stem to base. So just to put that into perspective, this eggplant is more than 10 times the size of a typical eggplant you'd pick up at your local grocery store. This guy's not just a vegetable, it's a spectacle. 7. Biggest cauliflower. In 2014, a gardener named Peter Glazebrook from Hallam, Nottinghamshire, UK, grew a cauliflower that tipped the scales at an enormous 27.48 kilograms. That's about 60.5 pounds. Just imagine the size of that. It was grown on April 21st, 2014, and is one of the largest cauliflowers ever recorded. But that's not all when it comes to giant cauliflowers. Did you know that some varieties can grow to be over 24 inches tall and produce heads that weigh up to 15 pounds? Yes, there are actual varieties bred to grow this big. 6. Watermelon. Of course, the king of giant fruits is the watermelon. In 2013, Chris Kent from Sevierville, Tennessee, grew a watermelon that set the world record for the heaviest ever, weighing an astonishing 350.5 pounds. This record-breaking event took place on October 4th, 2013 at the Operation Pumpkin Festival in Hamilton, Ohio. Just picture this, okay? A watermelon so big, it weighs as much as a grand piano or even a large motorcycle. But growing a watermelon of this size starts with the seeds. And not just any seeds. Chris, like other giant watermelon growers, uses seeds from the Carolina Cross variety. This particular variety is known for producing massive watermelons. 5. The heaviest lemon. On this day back in 2003, farmer Aharon Shemuel set a world record with a lemon that tipped the scales at an astonishing 5.265 kilograms. Grown on his farm in Kfar Zitim, Israel, this lemon wasn't just big, it was monumental, weighing more than an adult human's head. But that's not all. This lemon was not only heavy, but impressively large in size also. It measured 74 centimeters, or 29 inches in circumference, and stood 35 centimeters, or 13.7 inches tall. Imagine seeing two such behemoths just hanging from a tree. It must have looked like nature's own version of a heavyweight championship. Sometimes, despite all efforts, genetic factors play a crucial role. That tree might just have the genetic potential to produce larger than average fruits. 4. The longest green bean. Back in 1996, a gardener named H. Hurley from Fuquay-Varina, North Carolina, USA, grew a green bean that reached an incredible length of 48.75 inches. If you do the math, that's over 4 feet long. I mean, you could line up 4 standard rulers end to end, and this bean would still stretch beyond them. But that's not all in the world of extraordinary beans. Jump forward to 2023 in the UK, where another record was set, this time for the heaviest bean runner. Weighing in at 6.9 ounces, 196 grams, this bean wasn't just long, it was also significantly hefty. 3. Tomato. In the charming town of Stillwater, Minnesota, a couple named Dell and Julie Faust achieved something extraordinary. On October 8, 2022, at the Stillwater Harvest Fest, they presented a tomato that weighed a staggering 5.284 kilograms. That's about 11.65 pounds. Take a second and think about that. Can you imagine a single tomato that weighs as much as a small dog or a large bowling ball? But the impressiveness doesn't stop at its weight. This tomato also had a total circumference of 32.5 inches. That's over 2.5 feet around, making it not just heavy, but also incredibly large and round. This guy's like the pumpkin of tomatoes. This giant was grown from a 9.06 brown seed, which is known for producing large tomatoes. But what Dell and Julie achieved is truly remarkable. 2. Longest radish. Back in 2006, a gardener named Masayoshi Hiramatsu in Japan grew a radish that stretched an incredible 24 feet and 3.4 inches. Yep, I'll say it again, over 24 feet long. That thing's not just a vegetable, that's more like a champion vine. Can you imagine pulling this thing out of the ground? It would be like unearthing a small tree. Masayoshi's radish is not something that you're gonna find at your local grocery store. But Masayoshi didn't just grow this radish by chance either. This record-setting achievement likely involved careful planning and a deep understanding of radish varieties and their growth potential. Masayoshi must have nurtured and cared for this radish with the kind of dedication that most people reserve for prize-winning roses or vintage wines. 1. Giant butternut squash. Here we have a butternut squash that's not just big, it's record-breaking big. It was grown by Kevin Ritage in Germany and weighed a massive 137 pounds 2 ounces. Yeah, this squash weighs as much as a large human or a giant panda. Kevin's butternut squash set the new world record on the 29th of September 2024 at the Klastow GPC Weigh-Off in Brandenburg, Germany. Kevin grew this colossal squash from a 66.6 Norbert Andres 2023 seed. And here's a little fun fact. The squash was only 67 days old when it was harvested. That's just over 2 months to grow from a tiny seed into this giant record-setting squash. This impressive squash toppled the previous record held by Jason Loris from the USA, who grew a 131.4-pound butternut squash confirmed at the State Fair of Virginia just the year before. Thanks for watching! If you loved these giant fruits and veggies, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more amazing content. We'll see you next time!